By now, you should have registered for our course Discord. Discord is going to be the place where we have most of our discussions in the course, our large group, full class discussions. The reason I like to use Discord is because it's a little bit less restrictive than maybe like a Canvas discussion could be. It's a lot more informal, and I feel like, students feel more empowered to use it more informally than they might something like Canvas. I do want to offer a couple of recommendations for your use of the Discord throughout the course of the semester and talk about some ways that you can make using the Discord as easy on you as possible. So the first thing that you're going to want to do if you are a regular Discord user and if you are using a profile that you use for other things on Discord, or if you just don't want it to become too distracting, for getting notifications for threads and discussions that you're participating in, you might want to mute your notifications. You want to make sure to kind of schedule a visit to the Discord into your, weekly work. Probably a few visits to the Discord into your weekly work for the course. But that doesn't mean you have to be inundated with notifications from our particular channel all the time. So this is just quickly how to mute those notifications. Whenever you're posting in any one of these other sub channels or the threads within them, you're going to start to get notifications about your participation there. So might be whenever anybody else, comments, you might get a notification, and that can be overwhelming. So if you go up here to this notification settings widget right here, you can mute the channel for certain periods of time or until you decide to turn it back on. You can mute messages. You can, you can set it so that you get notifications for just messages, just app mentions, or so that you get notifications for nothing. So you have a lot of control over how your notifications come to you while you're using the Discord, and that's something that you might want to consider. You can also, while you're using Discord, create threads. If you want to start a unique branch of the discussion, let's say, for instance, in the what is it discussion, if you want to focus on a particular piece of media, you might make a thread just for that piece of media for folks to discuss with you. And here's how to do that. So let's say that you're in the what is it discussion that we're going to be having shortly. And you decide like, hey, there's one piece of media here that I really want to talk more about. I want to make a thread. So if you come up here, you can click on, threads right there. You can create a new thread. You can say, hey, I really want to talk about the Lewis Cole video. So you could call it Lewis Cole, and you could say like, I've never heard a song like this. What do you guys think? You might want to use, a little bit more, I think, detail than I'm using there, but I don't want to kind of give away the game. But anyway, that'll create this thread underneath the channel name, and now folks can respond specifically to this thread just to talk about the Lewis Cole video if they were to want to do that. You have a range of reactions available to you, and that's something that I'll be looking at in terms of engagement too, not just making comments, but also how you use the reactions to sort of show when you're participating without necessarily saying anything. So here's how to react to different posts. Now, as you're interacting with posts, if you want to leave a reaction, you just click on the little emoji button right there. There's all different kinds of reactions. You can see some of my most used up here. A post I think is, really, really stand out in a thread might get the trophy. One that I think you've just done a particularly good job on might get the celebration emoji here. If I really agree with something you're saying, I might use the bang bang. Sometimes, I might use themed ones if you're talking about specific topics, or, if I think you've hit on a really innovative idea, I might give you the brain emoji. But there's a bunch that you can use. There's so many different ones in here, and feel free to play with all of them and try to figure out, kind of like novel and unique ways to use the reactions. They can be pretty fun. Lastly, I want to make a note about post formatting. the temptation is probably going to be, like we've done with discussion assignments in the past, make longer, more developed posts. But you got to remember that here we're in a web format, it's informal discourse. So probably what we want to do is try to make our posts as readable as possible. So here I'll show you quickly how to break posts up into smaller chunks of text rather than long paragraphs, which I think is really essential. How to incorporate media and links and stuff like that as examples while you're discussing. And also, I'll just emphasize quickly before demonstrating those things that you don't necessarily have to type out long, detailed responses. You'll see by my responses that I tend to just try to pop in and ask questions that might get discussion going. That's something you can do as well. I may do this as a way of challenging kind of the conventional thought of the conversation thus far, which is a good thing to do. I may also just be asking out of genuine curiosity. So that's something you can think of too. If I'm confused about something, I also might ask a question. So asking questions is a great way to participate because it elicits discussion from your peers. But also too, you can comment just to say like, hey, I really like your analysis here. Or, I think that's a great idea. Or you don't necessarily have to always be building on everything that you comment on or respond to. It's all like collecting data, right? So like if you have an idea that you think is a good idea and 5 other people tell you, hey, that's a great idea, that means you're onto something and that's valuable. So when you're posting in the Discord, sure, if you want to post something that's longer and more developed, go for it. But also keep in mind, you can ask questions, you can amplify other people's responses by just telling them, hey, I agree with this. You can use reactions in order to demonstrate that same thing, agreement, possibly disagreement as well. And you can share media and other things as examples to sort of further the discussion that we're having. But here's how to do some of that stuff in the Discord format. Another thing I talked about was breaking up long chunks of text in your messages. So let me grab some lorem ipsum here in order to do a little demonstration for you. This is, Latin placeholder text. Commonly used in all different kinds of web design. So we'll grab these 3 paragraphs here. Simply posting something that looks like this into the Discord, it might be a little off-putting, might be tough to read, but if you hit Shift and Enter, you can put small chunks of space between individual sentences, groups of 2 or 3 shorter sentences, and it becomes a little bit more readable in that way. There's still a lot up here that I could divide down, but it makes it kind of simpler to scan through, to not maybe feel so necessarily overwhelmed by a particular post visually when just kind of looking at it. Also too, if you want to add other things, there's this plus button here. You could poll folks on the Discord. You could upload a voice file or a video file if you want to. And you can drop really any kind of link in here. So here's my own multimodality video. So if I wanted to share this on the Discord, let's say somebody asked where it was, you just drop the link in there and it's going to show this little preview, and you can actually play it right inside of Discord too. So keep in mind, anything that you can link, social media, songs on Spotify, whatever you might need, maybe a text you want to share with one of your small groups. Once we get into the small group projects, you can do that as well. So that's the basics for the Discord. Keep in mind, divide up the text of your post, use reactions, mute notifications if you need to. Feel free to use things like the polling options or the media sharing options. And remember that you can share media, anything that you can link from the internet, you can share freely on Discord. So, I'll see you in there.